So today's Tuesday, and yeah, I have to say this first two weeks and a day went really bad for trading. I didn't expect so many stop losses, but it's still fine. With this strategy, I've never traded on September, so I can't actually say if this is normal or not. But still, we'll go ahead until we get to December or we blow up the account. So let me talk to you about the new pair that I'm watching this week that I already traded and that I already hit the stop loss once, but I actually want to re-enter because there is another entry which is a little bit above the previous one. So the pair that I'm talking about is the British pound against the Japanese yen. So we see here a move up, which is due to the weekly movement. So on the weekly we see a resistance here. We hit the resistance 3 times. This time I think that the price will behave the same way. So we can use that as swing. So if we go all the way down to the hourly chart, we see here that we had an occasion to enter on the break of the Kijun. We didn't catch the occasion with the break because it was on Friday, around Friday. But I decided to enter on the retracement, hoping that the price would have moved down. So I entered around here, a little bit lower than the Kijun. The price went up instead, hit my stop loss here exactly, and then went down again. Seeing this, I decided to try to enter after the Kijun, after the break of the Kijun, but I didn't, and that's actually lucky for me because I would have put the stop loss right here and the price would have hit the stop loss the second time. So yeah, the price didn't hit my entry point, went up, then down again, and then up with the RSI divergence. So we have a higher high here, which is not actually a higher high, but if you just watch the close price, it is. So the RSI is actually diverging. That it's great for us. We can try to enter at the same price here with the stop loss a little bit higher here and try to get to at least to the Senko B daily, which is this one here, or even to the weekly Kijun, but not the current Kijun because it's all the way up here, but this flat Kijun here, which is so nearby to this supporting range and also the previous minimums. So I don't want to risk to go after the minimums. I just want to go around there, and I think that this Kijun is a great take profit. A pair that we also hit the stop loss is the Euro-Aussie pair. If you remember, I moved the stop loss right here. So with this price action, the price hit my stop loss, and the original stop loss was right here. If I had kept the stop loss in the original position, I wouldn't have hit the stop loss and I would be in profit, and that's actually really bad because I shouldn't have moved the stop loss. And I'm not saying this just because I hit the stop loss, but because my rules would have said me not to move the stop loss, because the rule briefly goes like this. So if you have this price action, you move the stop loss just when you have a second high which is lower than the first stop loss, of course, otherwise you don't move it. This is not, because this is the first high and this is the second high. So 1 and 2, I should have kept the stop loss here. I would have moved the stop loss if I had a retracement like this. So that means that this would have been the first one, this would have been the second one, and this one would have been the third. So I would have moved the stop loss right here, but I didn't have that. I moved the stop loss anyway, and I got pushed out from trade, but it's completely fine. I won't re-enter on this trade because the conditions are not optimal for me. The risk reward wouldn't be the same, and plus I hit the stop loss twice on this pair, and I really don't want to re-enter and risk again on the Euro-Aussie pair, even though my vision is still bearish. The last trade, the one that we are actually in, the only one that we are in, is the Aussie CAD pair, which is going normal. It's creating new highs and new lows, which is great. Now the price should move up and not break these highs here, which would be great for us. We just have to be careful on the Kijun daily, but our target is this bottom of this resistance range. So yeah, I think that this is all for Thursday. I just want to remind myself that I have to stick to the plan. So even though I hit so many stop losses, and this is actually not normal if you look at the overall trades that I had on the first month of the year, but I never traded this strategy on September, and the trading conditions always change, so I cannot say if this is normal or not. I would have to backtest the strategy, but still I have to stick to the master plan, which is getting positive at the end of the year, at the end of these 3 months, which is completely possible. So yeah, just stick to the master plan, and we are going to see each other again on the next clip. So just a quick update, today is Thursday and I just want to show you a new order that I opened. So as you see here, we are on the gold CFD. We see here on the weekly that we went up with the trend line, then we broke the trend line and we went down, forming this downtrend, this weekly downtrend. And without going much in detail, I just want to show you on the 4-hour chart that there is this triangle, this symmetrical triangle, and my goal is to enter on the break of the triangle with the stop loss under the previous minimums. The first take profit, which will be the more probabilistic take profit, it's this Senko B weekly that we can find here. So this one, which is also near this to these spikes and also to the moving average at 200 periods. I might show it to you on the platform. So yeah, this is the platform. This is the pair here, the gold CFD. As you see here, we are going to enter on this break and with the stop loss here and with the take profit here. So it's around a 1.7 risk reward, I think. Yeah, it should be a 1.7 or exactly 1.7 risk reward. About the Aussie cat pair, it's going pretty well. I think I will move the stop loss around break even because we have a new valley. So this would be the first valley, this would be the second valley, so I can move the stop loss on break even, so around here precisely, so 0.933 exactly. We will see if the price breaks the Kijun daily. If we go on the daily, we see that here the Kijun is flattening. But yeah, the Euro Aussie pair, which we went out a couple of days ago with the stop loss, it started to go downwards here, so we went out on stop loss here, the price started to move down. If we see here, this retracement is completely normal. So it's absolutely normal. If I would be in, I wouldn't be worried about this retracement here. It's completely normal. It's going also on this valley here, which is great for a retracement. And yeah, so this is all for today. This is everything I wanted to talk to you about. If we look again at the platform, we see here that we are in profit of 20 francs on the Aussie cat pair. We have an equity of around 4,830 francs. So I'll see you on the next update. Okay, so today is Sunday and we finished our third week, I think. Another stop loss, unfortunately. So Friday I got kicked out of the gold CFD that I was talking about to you on Wednesday, I think. So we can see here that I wanted to enter on the break of this triangle, of this symmetrical triangle. The triangle broke. It broke here, but then it retraced down again. Touching right my stop loss right here, and then went up again. It didn't really break the triangle downwards, so it's not a real downwards trend. So the triangle is still there with a false breakout, of course, with a false upwards breakout where we entered. But yeah, I'm not sure I will re-enter on this position. I will just leave it like that. And I will just monitor it just for sake of it, just to see where it ends up. Another position that we are still in is the Aussie cat pair, and we are now on an upwards trend. You can see here the trend line which broke here but then went up again, so not a problem. We are near to the Kijun daily, so we have to see if this resistance will be broken by the price. The next resistance is here, and the final resistance is the Kijun weekly, but I don't think I will try to get to the Kijun weekly. I will just stop to the start of this resistance range. So yeah, the week went again bad. This is the third negative week that we have. So if we look at the trading journal, we see that we are down at a 4.43%, which is again okay. We are going to blow up the account if I need to, so that's not a problem at all. So something to keep in mind for this week with all the stop losses is just to stick to the master plan. So you should have your trading plan, and that's your master plan, and of course the goal is to get on positive at the end of the year. But the master plan is also not to break your rules, not to overtrade just because you hit so many stop losses, not increase your size, not do everything that you could do wrong just to regain the money. So what you need to do, and at least what I needed to do and what I did, is to write this. Let me just show it to you. So to write this, I don't know if you can read it. Okay, this is just a paper where I wrote my rules, not the strategy rules, because that's another paper. That's another thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the master plan, so the trading plan. So I wrote here, of course it's in Italian, so you would probably not understand. So I wrote here the risk per trade that I'm going to take, which is 1%, the maximum risk per currency. If I have a USD CAD and a USD JPY position, I can open just those two with a 1% risk profile. And not open a USD Swiss franc, for example, pair, because I would exceed the 2% risk. So I also wrote that I want to impose myself not to open opposite positions. So that means not USD CAD long and USD CAD short. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about USD CAD long and USD JPY short, for instance. That would mean an opposite position for me. So you go long on one side on the USD, and you go short on the USD on the other side, and that's bad because that doesn't make sense. Also, not to re-enter more than 2 times on the same pair. So if I get kicked out on the stop loss once, I can re-enter once again, but then the third time I cannot re-enter it because then I start to get emotional and I start to want to re-enter just because I want to prove myself that I was right. But that doesn't make sense in trading. It's not about being right or wrong. Do not use the phone to monitor your positions. So again, I just want to point out that this is my rules and you can have your own rules, but these are most psychological rules. So yeah, not to use the phone to monitor positions. That's because when I started to monitor my positions with the phone, I started to deconcentrate in school, deconcentrate at work, to feel fear because I was maybe seeing the price going down. In general, to get emotional, and also always do your analysis completely before entering a position. Never say, okay, yeah, the price is going down, blah blah blah, Ichimoku is there, the resistance is there, I enter. No, you have to write your analysis, you have to write it completely, not just 2 or 3 lines. And also trade just majors, minors, and the USD Chinese one, because I like the USD Chinese one, and I don't want to trade exotic pairs because they cost a lot. So this is my trading plan. Alongside with my experience, I try to fill my trading plan more and more. When I see my weaknesses, when I see where I do things wrong. For example, I should write here, I will write it in 5 minutes, the fact that I need to have consistency. So see you next week with some other analysis. I have here 4 pairs to analyze this week. So yeah, see you in 6 or 7 days.